Have you ever wet your pillow with tears just because your mind was not getting quiet? Because something, some person, some memory was eating you from inside? Have you seen those nights when your eyes were closed but your mind was running at 1,000 kilometers? And the most painful thing, that person, that mistake, that past moment is no longer in your life, but it is still living on rent in your mind. We all have held on to something at some time or the other, some relationship, some hope, some wrong decision, even ourselves. And this hold is so strong that it breaks us. The truth is that the more we hold on, the more we sink. Have you ever seen this while swimming in the ocean? If you keep kicking, stay stuck out of fear, then you will drown. But if you let go, surrender yourself, then you come up, you start floating. This is the art of letting go, the art of surrendering, trusting yourself. This book by Nick Trenton has told millions of people around the world that letting go is not defeat. It is wisdom. It is courage. It is healing. This book tells us that when we hold on to yesterday, we lose the strength of today and the power of tomorrow. So we don't need answers. We need freedom. And that freedom is achieved when we learn to let go. Letting go does not mean forgetting. Letting go means giving your heart permission to not be broken anymore. Telling your mind that it will not be a prisoner anymore. It is to assure you that it has so much power inside it that it can smile without anyone. Am I really good? There is no truth in these questions, but these questions trap us. They steal our night's sleep, our heart's peace, and our smile. This is overthinking, the prison of the mind, a prison whose bars are made from inside, not from outside. A prison in which you are the prisoner and you are the jailer. You are the one who punishes yourself every day for things that have happened, for things that are not in your hands, and for those people who are no longer a part of your life. Nick Trenton explains this point very beautifully. Overthinking is an illusion inside us. We think that the more we think, the better decisions we will take. We will be able to understand something new. But the truth is that overthinking is not thinking, it is self-torture. This is that voice which says every time, "You are not enough. You were wrong. Nothing will change now." And then we keep falling in the same pit. Most of us live in the replay room of our mind more than living life every day. We think, if I'd spoken a little differently that day, if I had forgiven him, if I had not quit my job, all these hypotheticals, which will never happen, nor can happen, but still rob us of our sleep. Trenton says that overthinking arises when we give more space to fear in search of clarity. We think that the more we think, the more control we will get. But actually we lose control, and the worst thing is that all this becomes an invisible cycle. You get stuck, but are unable to stop, because this prison of the mind starts to feel comfortable. At least it is familiar. But now the question arises, is it possible to get out of it? The answer is yes. And the first door to it is awareness. When you catch yourself saying that I'm going into the loop of thinking again, that is where freedom begins. Awareness means observing your own thinking, not judging it, like watching a movie. Just watching, not reacting, knowing that yes, it is a thought, but it is not me. And this awareness slowly starts dropping an ant from that invisible prison. Now imagine if every time your mind races, you can stop it gently. Then your mind will not be a mad horse, but a calm jelly in which everything is visible clearly. Wouldn't you like to be that kind of person? The second killer to overcome overthinking is to live in the present. When you pay attention to your breath, listen to the sounds around you. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Then you give your mind a task. Be here. Be now. Trenton's message is clear. Your mind is a wonderful tool, but it is not the master. You are the master. And when you decide that enough is enough, now I will not torture myself, then you take the key to that prison in your hand. You have to remember that habits of thinking are not formed in a day, and they will not go away in a day either. But every time you torture yourself, readjust, then you weaken that habit. This is a practice. Just like you are living in pain in the gym, you just don't say it. But if you are listening to this and can feel that this is your truth, then understand that the change has started. We are humans, but we treat ourselves like machines. We want everything to be perfect. What you want is often the most uncontrollable. Other people, their attitude, situations. And the more you hold on to them, the more they slip away. Like clenching a reed in your fist. The tighter you hold it, the faster it slips away. We think that if we do everything right, life will be easy. But the opposite happens. We forget to laugh. We start fearing making mistakes and become so submissive to everything that life becomes a burden. We start expecting perfection even from the people who love us. Why did he say this? He should have understood. If he loves me, then why would he do this? But we forget. People are humans, not scripted characters. And relationships run on acceptance, not control. Now, think. If you could accept someone or something with its flaws, how much of your burden would be lightened? Have you ever seen a child who smiles even after making a mistake? because he knows that the mistake is not his identity. But as we grow up, we become so strict with ourselves that even a small mistake breaks us from inside. We punish ourselves for everything that was not in our control. But Trenton says a very simple thing: acceptance is the antidote to control. Meaning, when you start accepting things the way they are, not the way you want them to be, then real peace comes. You start forgiving others, situations, and most importantly, yourself. And then you realize that life should not be perfect. It should only be real. Have you ever thought how a negative thought can spoil the mood of the whole day? A small thing, a small comment, or someone ignoring you, and we make that thing 100 times bigger inside. Then from one thought to another, from the second to the third, and in no time we get caught in such a storm where there is no one else, only us, fighting with ourselves, losing to ourselves. This is the negative thought spiral, that mental swamp in which the more we try to get out, the deeper we sink. Nick Trenton gives it the right name: mental loops. These loops are formed when we get stuck on everything, like scratching a wound again and again. We think, why did he say that? What would have happened if I'd said something else? Would people be thinking bad about me? And these questions never end. Every thought opens a new door, but behind that door there is not peace, but more restlessness. What actually happens? We make our thoughts our identity. If fear comes into our mind, then we consider ourselves cowards. If jealousy is felt, then we start considering ourselves inferior. If there is comparison, then we feel that we have lost. But Trent is not drowning. The first step to break this spiral is to name the thoughts. As soon as a negative thought comes, catch it and say, okay, this is fear, this is comparison, this is insecurity. Just saying, I am thinking, gives you a little distance between the thought and yourself. And that distance gives you back the control. Awareness is liberation. When you can't stop the thought, start recognizing it. Imagine if someone comes to you and says, "You are worthless." You get angry. But when the same thing comes from within you, you accept it as the truth. If you do nothing, you will keep falling further. But if you find a small catch, a positive thought, a pause, deep breath, you can pull yourself out, and that is the lesson. It is not necessary to identify with every thought. Trenton tells a powerful technique: pattern interrupt. Whenever you feel a storm of thoughts coming, do something that calms your mind. Say it out loud, or clap your hands, or stand up straight and do a tumble. This breaks the flow of the mind, and you can get out of that loop. And once you take back the control, you can decide in which direction to think. Now, have you ever noticed that we explain to our friends, "Don't think like this. You are good. Don't pay attention to what he says." But we never have such compassion with ourselves. Why, you are also a human being. You also have the right to take care of yourself, to understand, to forgive. And when you do this practice daily, slowly, your mind starts rewiring. You start coming out of automatic negative thinking, and then those who were once broken start healing. Those who used to run away from fear, now they can feel peace. I started talking when someone's reply comes late and takes away your sleep at night. Then understand that there is no connection. There is attachment. And when attachment becomes unhealthy, it is no longer love. It becomes a prison. Nick Trenton says a very deep thing. Emotional detachment does not mean to be disconnected, but to be in balance. It does not mean that you become a stone. It does not mean that you do not care. It only means that you do not make someone else's presence a condition for your happiness. When you learn this, then you become your own best friend. We often believe that loving someone from the heart means taking on his every mood, every decision, every problem. But this is what happens. We put so much burden on our heart that it starts to sink instead of beating. Whether it is a relationship, career, or a dream, when we make its outcome our identity, then failure starts to break. This becomes the reason for our loss. Trenton teaches us that we should not connect with outcomes, but with efforts, because the outcome is not in your control, but the effort will always be there. Emotional detachment is not running away. It is a conscious decision that you want to connect with someone without losing. Because when we live emotionally invested in everything, then everything starts to hurt. Someone creating a scene and not replying, someone being busy. Everything starts to seem personal, and we think, did I do something wrong? Do they not need me now? Am I not enough? This is where detachment comes in handy. It gives that mental space in which you can ask yourself, is this really about me? Am I just overthinking? Detachment gives us that distance where we do not react but respond, where we face things but do not let ourselves become a part of that tome. Trenton, am I more connected to myself than anyone else? Then clarity comes, and with clarity comes freedom. The real meaning of emotional detachment is that you learn to take responsibility for your mind yourself. You don't have to depend on someone else's behavior for your peace. Whether that person likes you or not, understands you or not, you keep on talking or not. But the problem is that most people don't write that story themselves. They just live it. If someone says in childhood, "You are stupid," then that line becomes the script of your entire life. If a relationship breaks up, then the mind believes that no one can love me. If you fail once, then you start saying to yourself that you are worthless. And slowly, these sentences become your identity. A person becomes what he repeatedly says about himself. So, what you say to yourself in your mind becomes your truth, whether it is true or not. And this is the mental story, the story that you have heard about yourself from yourself again and again, so many times that now it has started seeming true to you. But the truth is, why does this happen to you only? I'll always remain alone. No one understands me. I do not have that talent. And all these things gradually make a place in our thoughts. Then, no matter what good happens outside, the mind always says, no. Bad always happens with you. And in this way, we get trapped in the mental cage created by us. Trenton tells that the origin of these stories is often fear of rejection, loneliness, defeat, and we hold on to these stories because we feel that they give us identity. I have always been strong. I have suffered a lot. These things sound inspiring, but when they stop you from moving forward, then they become the biggest hindrance to your growth. Observe the story. Rewrite it. Catch your old thought patterns. Write them down. See how much truth is there in them, how much is pain, and how much is just fear. And then ask yourself, can I write this story again? If you start telling yourself, I am learning, I am healing, I am forgiving myself, I am starting a new chapter, not the old story, then your thinking, your energy, your face, everything will change because it will say, yes, I have made mistakes, but I am not defined by those mistakes. Yes, I have been hurt, but I am not just that wound. Yes, it took me time, but now I am holding my own steering. You have to understand that your story can become your strength if you want. But if you keep running it in repeat mode, it will not let you move forward. Quitting is not a one-day decision. It is not a dramatic moment where you say once that I have quit and everything becomes light. No. It is a sincere practice, a practice that starts every morning when you wake up and continues every night till you close your eyes. And when you take this practice seriously, then life starts changing slowly, without any noise, without any drama from within. Nick Trenton repeatedly reminds us that transformation is not flashy. It is subtle. It is made up of small habits, just 10 minutes of conversation, 2 minutes of deep breathing, and at the end of the day, asking yourself, am I feeling a little lighter today? When you wake up in the morning, your mind is most impressionable. If you start your day by overthinking, scrolling your phone, or comparing, then the whole day will be immersed in the same energy. But if you spend a few minutes in the morning to connect with yourself by meditating, writing a few lines in a journal, feeling gratitude, then you make your mind clear, grounded, and ready. Journaling isn't anything fancy. It's just a way to hear yourself clearly. When you put your fears, thoughts, anger, or confusion down on paper, it's no longer inside you. Trenton calls this mental decluttering. And when you write down 3 things you're grateful for every day, you teach your brain that not everything is bad. And when your mind starts believing that there are good things too, only then it starts letting go of the bad things. But we miss the beautiful moment of the present. When you are eating, just eat. When you're walking, walk. When you're talking to someone, really listen. It may seem simple, but that's what mindfulness is. And this is where the peace begins. We often think that life will change when something big happens. We will get a job. Some relationship will improve. Some dream will be fulfilled. But Trenton says that big changes never come from outside. They start from within. From the small victories that you achieve with yourself every day, every time you let go of a thought instead of holding on to it, that's a practice. Every time you calm yourself instead of getting angry at someone, that's a practice. Every time you listen to yourself instead of trying to please everyone, that's a practice. And yes, sometimes you will get tired. You will feel like you are back in the same place again. You will feel like nothing is changing. But remember, letting go is not a linear journey. It is like a wave, up, down, sometimes calm, sometimes stormy. But to keep practicing is your victory. Consistency is more powerful than perfection. We all want to fly, want to soar high, want to reach our dreams. But have you ever noticed that a bird does not want to fly? But we have carried in our mind so many bondages, so much burden of old things, words of so many people, memories of failures, and a heavy bag of our own expectations that we cannot run, we cannot fly. Nick Trenton says that letting go doesn't mean hate. It means freedom. When you let go of a person, a past pain, or an old version of yourself, you are not hating them. You are getting yourself back. You are reclaiming your energy, the energy that you were spending for years. Guilt, shame, overthinking, and repeatedly blaming yourself. When that energy comes back, clarity comes, and clarity gives direction. Often we think that if I had forgotten, was my love worth it? Or if I had forgiven, was my pain not justified? But the truth is that letting go is never an insult to any relationship or emotion. It is just a decision that now you want to make a peace for yourself too. When you hold on to old wounds, they do not heal. They start rotting, and then you carry them everywhere, in new relationships, in new opportunities, in every decision of yours. Trenton says that baggage is not just what you carry, it is also what you allow. People's expectations, society's standards, comparisons, past guilt trips, toxic attachments. And the first step to lightening this baggage is to create boundaries. Not everyone should have access to your energy. Taking everyone's words to heart, trying to please everyone, it destroys your peace, not you. Creating boundaries does not mean being selfish. It means self-care. And when you start letting go of boundaries, if from today you start letting go of everything that is not yours, those people, those thoughts, that guilt, that comparison, then what will happen? Won't you feel lighter? Won't you become more focused, calm, and present? Trenton's last message is very clear. It is not peace, but success. Now, success is not just money, fame, or status. Now it is true victory. Being able to sleep peacefully at night, being able to forgive yourself, being able to move forward without fear. Now it is real success. Mental clarity, emotional stability, and honest connection with yourself. The journey of letting go does not end, but every time you let go of something unwanted, you get a little closer to your real self. And a day comes when you stand without baggage, confident, clear, and completely present. Many people think that letting go is simply forgetting someone, giving up on a relationship, or getting rid of the past. But the truth is that letting go is not a one-time decision. It is a lifestyle. It is a mindset in which you ask yourself every day, can I be a little more light today? And when you say yes, you start befriending yourself. Sometimes we hold on so much to people, expectations, failures, comparisons, guilt, that they all become a weapon against us. We smile, but something inside keeps pulling us. We walk, but the chains of old things are tied to our feet. And then we think, why do I get stuck? Why does everything seem so heavy? Why do I feel incomplete even after having everything? Nick Trenton's entire book and this entire journey reminds us of just this one thing. You don't need anything. You just have to remove the old burden tied to you. When you let go of expectations of relationships, guilt of the past, fear of the future, then you don't lose anything. You gain. You get back the energy that was entangled in all this. You get the clarity that helps you connect with yourself. You find that peace which was never present outside. It was just suppressed inside. Today, by the time you reached the last words of this audio, maybe there was some stir in your heart too. Maybe you too recognized some thought which was stopping you for years. Maybe you too have started understanding now that giving up does not mean losing, but standing up for yourself. So I just want to tell you one thing: lighten yourself from today. The things that break you every day, the memories that keep you awake all night, the faces that make you doubt your worth, forgive them, leave them. Don't think about what they will think. Don't think about what the world will say. Just think what you can become if you are free from all this. Because what will remain when you let go of it all will be only you, the real you who isn't afraid and isn't stuck in the past.